This is not a story for everyone. This is for the ones who finally asked the question that keeps them awake at night. Why do people hurt without care? If you're healing in silence, this space is for you. I reached a point where confusion turned into clarity, and clarity, I soon discovered, hurt more than ignorance ever could, because I realized something terrifying. Some people don't hurt you by accident. They know. They just don't care. Not about your situation, not about your mental state, not about the immense weight you're already carrying on your shoulders. They hurt you, and then they go to sleep, completely untroubled. I kept replaying everything in my mind over and over again. I was desperately trying to understand, trying to find the exact moment where I went wrong. But then, like a sudden, cold wave, it hit me. You can't reason with people who have already turned off their empathy. Some people stop seeing other humans. They see opportunities to exploit. They see threats to neutralize. They see inconveniences to remove. And once that empathy is gone, hurting you feels entirely justified to them. I think about the future often. I think about consequences. I think about purpose. I think about what my actions will cost me, not just today, but years from now. But not everyone lives like that. Some people live solely in the fleeting moment of their emotion. Anger now, control now, damage now. They don't count the bodies they leave behind emotionally. Music drops low, raw. The most painful realization wasn't the betrayal itself. It was this. They knew what I was going through. They saw the stress. They saw the struggle. They saw the effort I was putting in just to stay afloat. And still, they added more weight. That's when pain transforms into something else entirely. It becomes a profound injustice, because hurting someone who is already down, who is already struggling, requires a special kind of emotional absence. It requires a void where compassion should be. I won't sugarcoat this. That level of hurt triggers dangerous thoughts. Thoughts you've never had before. Thoughts that scare you because they don't sound like you at all. And that's when I understood something critical. Pain doesn't just test your patience. It tests your very identity. It asks a terrifying question. Who will you become if this continues? I stood at an internal crossroads. One path was reaction. To say everything. To do something. To explode with all the hurt they had caused. The other path was restraint. Silence, distance, protection, and restraint felt so profoundly unfair. Why should the one who was hurt also have to carry the burden of control? Why should I be the one to manage my response to their cruelty? But then I saw it clearly. Reaction would cost me my future. It would drag me down into a spiral of bitterness and regret, and they would move on, completely untouched by the chaos they had created. Some people hurt without care because they are fundamentally disconnected from consequence. They don't think long-term. They think only of their immediate relief, their immediate satisfaction. And that is why distance becomes absolutely necessary, not as a form of punishment, but as an act of survival. I wish this episode ended with a sense of peace. I wish I could tell you that this realization brought closure, but it didn't, because after realizing all this, I felt something even more dangerous than anger. I felt numb, and numbness changes everything. In the next episode, I'll talk about what happens when pain stops hurting and starts changing who you are. Subscribe not just to watch, but to stay grounded when emotions rise.